this opportunity given to me by the Medical Research Foundation for presenting to you a brief report on the genesis, structure and future plans of the Elite School of Optometry, which will shortly be inaugurated by Honorable Minister for Health of Tamil Nadu.
You realize the value of what Dr. SRG had put forward, the societal recognition.
Immediately he agreed to help, and he called few people and they all pulled up. I had to go abroad for treatment, and at that time SRG was a great help. He gave me a lot of contacts.
That whenever Professor SRG used to go, there was absolute silence in the college.
And there was a long corridor, and I have to get down the staircase and walk the corridor to go out. As we were coming half the corridor, SRG was just coming towards us. We did not see him, and the moment we saw him, all the others vanished from the place. All ran away because we know that he is going to pull us up. But I just walked, and he asked me, where are the others? Why they all ran away? I told him, sir, we are going for a cinema. You're going for a cinema? What is the time now? I said, sir, it is 1. Which theatre? He asked me. I told him, sir, we are going to Gaiety. But how are you going to go? Sorry, I would have given my car, but my car will carry only 4 of you. So make your arrangements. And just walked away. We all thought that he was going to punish us, but the man did not do anything. On the contrary, offered his car for us to take to a movie theatre when we are cutting a class. But it's not that he was encouraging us to cut a class. What happened was, after that day till we left the college, we never thought of cutting a class even once.
Sikal Naikanpete Rajagopalan Govindarajan, Professor SRG, was born on 10th August 1917 at Kumbakonam to Sri S.S. Rajagopala Iyengar and Srimati Pattammal as 11th child. Sri SRG had his schooling at the Town High School, Kumbakonam. The same school that the mathematics genius of our country, Ramanujan, attended at Bishop Heber High School, Tiruchirappalli. He was a favorite student of his teachers. At Trichy, Father De Sousa mentored him throughout, molded him into a dreamer of dreams and a performer on his dream projects. Sri SRG did his post-graduation in the Department of Physics, Annamalai University. No wonder Sri SRG, born and brought up in the banks of River Kaveri. He developed interest in fine arts and especially Carnatic music. Even during his post-graduation days, his interest in music made him take up a research project in sound in Carnatic music. Under the great guidance of Carnatic musician Tiger Varadachari, Sri SRG in physics started his career at Pachayappa's College. He shifted to Loyola College under the guidance of his teacher, Father De Sousa at Loyola.
My name is Ramakrishna Raja, a student of Professor Govindarajan. When I joined Loyola College in 1952 as a student, his deep knowledge covered a very wide range of subjects like literature, philosophy, sports, music, and so on. And his house was like a Gurukulam, where many of his students would gather to take his wise counsel on various matters.
He authored many textbooks in physics. These books, even today, serve as a reference text for many teachers and research scholars. After a short stint at Loyola, Sri SRG moved to the head of the department at A.M. Jain College. All these outstanding qualities made the management of Dwarka Das Govardhan Das Vaishnav College to make an invitation to head the Department of Physics and also to serve as vice principal. He had the extreme goodness and accepted the invitation when the college was incepted in the year 1964. Thus, Sri SRG became vice principal to help Thotadri Iyengar, the first principal of the college. Two years later, SRG became the principal of Vaishnav College. Sri SRG's faith in God is at once innate and intense.
One day we had our annual day function where we had a small skit, and in the skit there was a play and there is a principal, and I was asked to play the principal's role, almost trying to imitate S.R.Govindarajan. And at the end of the, it was a satire of course, and all the play, my fellow students, my friends said, "Oh, you are going to have it from tomorrow, this man is going to mark you." But let me tell you, after the film, he came to me and said, "You did wonderfully, you really mimicked me so well, and really I loved what you did."
The vigor and extraordinary interest with which he pursued the Rotarian goals saw him elevated as the president of the Rotary Club in 1963. Subsequently, as the charter president of Madras West Club in 1965. During his chairmanship, aid from all corners of the world in general, Australia, Canada and America in particular, had flowed in for meeting the cause of several community welfare projects such as dental camps, eye clinics, not only in Tamil Nadu but also in other Indian states. The Rotary movement elected Sri SRG as district governor in 1977 to 78. The Canadian International Development Agency came forward to give $4 million to meet the cost of 100 of projects in his district, including rehabilitation of mentally challenged mothers. He started and conducted free polio drop campaigns in our state with the help of Canadian government. Even after his retirement, Professor SRG was instrumental in sending 32 scholars abroad for higher studies. He shared his expertise in starting educational projects in parallel stream. He was the idea behind Kothari Academy for Women. He enabled starting elite school of optometry by Shankara Netralaya to start a paramedical course. Professor SRG enabled this dream to become a reality. Dr. S.S. Badrinath, Professor S.R.Govindarajan and Professor J.M. Enoch co-founded the elite school of optometry. He has influenced thousands of minds through education.
This institution believes the amount of trouble he goes through to help another person. It is indeed our fortune that he has agreed to deliver the keynote address at this dedication ceremony for the Elite School of Optometry.
I am Dr. K. Ravishankar, a practicing ophthalmologist in Chennai. I've been practicing ophthalmology for about 3 to 4 decades, and I was associated with Shankar Nethralaya from 1980 to 2006. Shankar Nethralaya, which was headed by Dr. Badrinath, decided to start an optometry school. With the help of the Berkeley School, with the help of Professor Enoch, it was felt that education in optometry would greatly benefit India. At that stage, optometry was in a very infancy stage with not many schools, optometric education. It was just about a year or two program giving ophthalmic technicians. It was felt that Nethralaya adopt the Berkeley program, which was a 4-year program, and there was a need that an academician should help run the program. At that stage, sought the help of Professor SRG, who had already retired by then. He must have been around 70 then, and he, being an academician and a physicist profession, be able to help Nethralaya not only to have the curriculum set right, but also to run the program. And after this deliberation, the school was started in the year 1988.
His legacy as a teacher continues. His grandson, Dr. Suraj Srinivasan, is a senior professor in Harvard Business School.
My grandfather was a very special person for me. As some of you might know, he started from very humble beginnings, and education played a real big part in his life. He was very proud of his grandchildren's achievements, so every small thing, educational or otherwise, I would feel very proud to go and tell him, this little thing or that little thing, and he would be very, very encouraging. More substantially, my relationship with him as a student started when I was maybe in 10th or 11th standard, when I summoned the courage actually to start to ask him that I would learn physics from him. And I say summon the courage because it was summoning courage to try to ask someone of his stature that I wanted to learn physics from him. I had grown up with seeing countless of his physics books around the house. That was the first time I actually known the authors of books to be related to me. I've seen books on principles of physics, his book on light, his book on sound around the house. In fact, more recently, I Googled his name and I knew his master's thesis was on sound. And I found his early master's thesis from Annamalai University published in a international physics journal. So, having that person of that stature of physics, I finally summoned the courage to ask him, and he was more than delighted to help me learn physics and learn it better. And for me, that is the mark of a true teacher and of a true human being, in fact. And now, as an educator myself, I can only hope that I tell myself that I should work hard, and I can only hope that I will have a fraction of the influence that he has had on his students' lives myself. And if I'm able to do that, I think that would be a fitting way to continue the legacy that SRG, my tata, created.
Mrs. Sumati Raghavan is a teacher in Shishya School.
My earliest memories of my grandfather, SRG Tata, was that of a strict disciplinarian. He was one of those people who inspired awe in all of us. When we were little children and we'd come visiting Chennai during the holidays, we would always be a little nervous when he came inside and sat down in the room. But we always looked up to him and asked him whatever we needed to know, because we knew that he would know the answers. And what inspired me a lot from the very beginning was whenever we went out somewhere, when we went for a party or a function, everybody in the room would stand up and greet him. I noticed this with people who had long since passed out from under his care, people who had now become big industrialists, who had high positions, who were people in their own respect, very, very important. But still, when they saw their old professor, their old principal, their old teacher, they would stand up and greet him. He inspired that kind of respect in people. And this left quite a deep imprint on my mind when I was very, very young. My grandfather was always one of those people whom could be relied on at any point for anything. He would always lend a helping hand to people. He loved taking care of children, poor, anybody who asked him for help, and he would give it. And then as I grew older, this impression of what a teacher means to the people at large, that left a big impression, and I was quite determined to follow in his footsteps. I took up a job teaching in a school here in Adyar called Sishya. I'm teaching English there, and every time I walk into the class and the children stand up to greet me, I'm reminded of my grandfather and the kind of respect that he commanded from his children, from his students. So I think I feel very humbled and very privileged in a way to be one of the people who's carrying on his legacy in the family. And I am really, really grateful to him for really inspiring me to take this field, because I think being a teacher is a very large part of my personality and one that I really like the most. So on this 100th birthday of my grandfather, I'm very happy to be able to wish him a happy birthday and say, "See Tata, I too have become a teacher."
His niece, Mrs. Shobha Raman, is a principal of Vidya Mandir.
S.R.Govindarajan, known to me as Atimber, is one of the greatest educationalists. I remember, along with that little smile, he said, "I'm very happy you're a teacher." So I felt very nice to make that connection with him, and then onwards, whenever I visited him, he used to give me a few tips, a few talks about what he thought a teacher must be and what he thought mustn't be. So maybe because we were had the passion for physical sciences, and I did teach chemistry at that time, he gave me some tips as to how to make the class interesting and how a teacher's perspective can make the student hate the subject or love the subject. So as a principal, when I took over, he was one of the persons whom I thought a lot about before I sat on this chair, and I'm sure he is there to guide me by giving the inspiration which I need.
Professor SRG truly lived as a great role model. To quote Dr. Abdul Kalam, educationists should build the capacities of the spirit of inquiry, creativity, entrepreneurial and moral leadership among students and become the role model. Let us in our own humble way learn from such a great person and dedicate ourselves to spread knowledge and education to become worthy citizens in this world.